Welcome to WHUR at Home. I am your host, Vermonte Bryant. Well, recently at York Catholic High School, a private high school in York, Pennsylvania, student Dean Holmes was set to walk across the graduation stage. All normal, except Mr. Holmes wanted to wear a face mask with Black Lives Matter written across it. But school officials told him to remove it due to school policy, which forbade the wearing of any clothing with messages, even coverings. Was Mr. Holmes denied his First Amendment rights? Was it racial insensitivity on the school's part, or was the school just following its policy that it says it had put out there to all parents and students? This evening, we are joined by that student, Mr. Dean Holmes, and his dad, John. Mr. Holmes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Hello.
Let's start with you, Dean. Tell us why you felt it important, number one, to wear that mask as you went across the stage to get your diploma.
Especially right now, I think it's very important to just say that my life matters as a Black man in America, because through all the discrimination that Black people go through on the daily basis, it's extremely justified to claim that my own, as well as the many others, life matters.
And Dad Holmes, the school's position is, listen, we're a private school. We sent letters out to all family members saying that there could be no messages on the hats, on the shirts, on anything that was outward. And that so it was out there already, and in effect, that Dean was not following school policy. Your position on that is what?
It's very funny. The school came out with that letter after graduation. If you look at the information sent out to parents and students before graduation, which we have provided on Dean's Facebook, and it's all over the internet with other newspapers and affiliates, it does not say anything that the school said. Plain as that. They said my son snuck the mask on in line. We have time-stamped pictures with my son 45 minutes he talked to the vice principal with the mask on. The person that wrote it is the chairman. We don't even know who he is. All other mail for the last 4 years has been put out by their principal, the lady that did this injustice, Mrs. Seifert, along with Mr. Bankos. These people will lie blatantly. You cannot send information home and then change your mind after the fact to cover yourself. You can't do that. So we were told.
No, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
All students wear masks. That's what it says. Plain as day. You know, we're educated folks. We can read black and white. That's what it says in black and white. But after the school started getting heat, they put that version out, which is totally false.
Well, let me read parts of what I believe the version is that you're speaking of, and you tell me if that is correct. An excerpt of that letter says, each graduate was given a face shield to be worn in lieu of a face mask. Graduates gathered outside the church prior to processing inside. They were checked in, asked several questions regarding exposure to COVID-19 and temperature checked. 2 other graduates chose to wear a solid face mask with no writing in addition to the actual shield and sought permission in advance to do so. Mr. Holmes, I'm paraphrasing, in the statement by the parent, did not seek permission to wear a mask in addition to the face shield, nor was the mask worn at all during the 45 minutes prior to the processional portion of the ceremony. It was not until the last minute, right before entering the church, and that the face mask with writing was put on. York Catholic administration directed the face mask to be removed privately away from the other graduates and guests. Is that correct, Dean or Dad?
Not at all. It starts, the first lot is where it says that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. We're at home.
There we go. Sorry about that.
So where it says that we had our temperatures checked and they asked us health questions relating to our health. None of this happened. I was outside the entire 45 minutes before before the graduation started and before lining up and all that. And then it says I put the mask on right before I walked in. That is not true at all. There's timestamp pictures. I talked to the vice principal with the mask on. They saw me with it on. Like, they didn't say a word. And then it says they handled the situation privately away from guests and graduates. Completely false. I was walking in with the line, and then I was asked to get out of line, and we were talking in the lobby right next to the graduates that were walking into the church.
So, Dean, what do you think this is all about? And I'll have your dad sort of comment on that as well. I mean, what do you make of this? What do you think the genesis of this is?
I think the school is trying to cover themselves, but it's kind of crazy that they would just lie like this with proof that disputes their claims.
And why is it that you think they did not want you to wear your mask? You think because it had Black Lives Matter? Do you think if it said something else like "Go York High," it would have been handled differently?
I do think it was because it said Black Lives Matter.
How about you, Dad? What's your position? Do you think if something else was written on that mask that you wouldn't be in this situation now, or we wouldn't be talking about this?
We wouldn't be talking about this. But you know, it's funny. At school, it's the same policy, I guess, because he said so. If that policy is true, why were students allowed to dress up like Donald Trump in 2016 and wear "Make America Great" hat and not get any flack about it, not be made to take it off or anything? So, you know.
Now, is it possible that after that there was some consternation and some discussion, and then thereafter they said, okay, we're not going to have any coverings at all after 2016? Is that possible that the school then decided, well, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't do that?
No, no, not at all. Because you know what? They inform us about everything in writing. They sent the writing out. So if they had changed the policy, it would have been in writing. I guarantee if you read it yourself, I'm sorry I didn't send it to you beforehand, you would say, oh, this is in contradictory to what this letter says. That's the problem.
And again, it's in writing. Dean, I know that you have previously said in other interviews, you also felt like some of this, or either Dad, and tell me if I'm directing this to the wrong person, that you felt some sort of way because you wanted to start a Black student union, and the school didn't want you to call it the Black Student Union. Is that correct? And sort of expound on that a little bit, what that situation was.
So we're from Baltimore, and I have a lot of friends who go to schools in Baltimore, and they have their own, and they participate in their own Black student unions, and they do a lot of great stuff. And I just wanted to do that at my own school, at York Catholic. And when I was beginning to start creating our club, it was not allowed to be called the Black Student Union. The name we had to use is the American Diversity Club.
Did they tell you why?
No, but American Diversity Club is more encompassing, I guess.
Dad, what do you want to see? Dean now is a graduate. He's moving on. Yes. But what do you want to see happen from this point forward?
The school in 2020 let my son down by these kind of practices. These are the practices that groups like Black Lives Matter are started from. We're going to march. We won't let this go, because if we don't fight at this moment and continue to fight, we will regress. It will be no more regression. I want the next generation of minority kids to go to that school to feel comfortable in their skin. They have no Black teachers, no Black administrators, no Black counselors, but Black and brown kids as well as Asian. It's 2020. And when I was told by the principal, I can't find any black teachers, I asked her, were you looking?
What was his or her response?
It was quiet. There was nothing said.
So, Dean, what's next for you? You are a graduate, so you're going to move on. So what are your plans now moving forward?
I'm going to New York University in the fall, or in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. I'll be studying economics.
Well, congratulations, first of all, on graduating. Congratulations on moving to the next level, NYU. Great school. I know your dad said you guys are originally from Baltimore, so you're still kind of in the region. And we're going to keep an eye on this story because I have a feeling that it's not going to end here. And we'll definitely get some of those documents in hand that you mentioned, Mr. Holmes. We thank you both so much for joining us and sharing your story, and we'll keep following it. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. John and Dean Holmes. We thank them for joining us tonight again and sharing their story. I'm Bramante Bryant. That's HUR at Home.